To pass your microeconomics exam, you will have to understand exactly how markets naturally clear and balance themselves. In economics, a market is defined strictly. It is the set of buyers and sellers of a specific, identical good that is sold at the exact same price. These markets are driven by two competing forces. First is demand. Buyers predictably want to purchase larger quantities when prices are cheaper. Opposing them is supply. Sellers predictably want to sell more of their product when prices are higher. In this lesson, we will build the mathematical supply-demand model, map how external factors disrupt it, and precisely calculate tax burdens. Every complex outcome you study in introductory microeconomics traces back to the constant tension between these two simple behavioral rules. Let's build that model. We start with a standard coordinate plane, placing quantity on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. This chart shows the standard demand and supply curves intersecting. The blue line is demand, sloping downward. The red is supply, sloping upward. They represent a specific willingness, showing exactly how many people will buy or sell at any given price. When the price of the good itself changes, we see a movement along the curve. For example, if a cinema discounts its tickets, the quantity demanded slides down to a higher point on the exact same demand line. But when external factors change, completely independent of the item's current price, we get a shift. During midterms, students want more coffee. Even if a cup costs exactly the same as yesterday, the entire demand curve moves to the right. These specific shifts happen due to changes in income, technology, buyer preferences, or resource prices. Warning tone. Pay close attention here. Confusing an internal price change, a movement, with an external shock, a shift, is the most common reason students fail this exam. This graph shows the tulip market's equilibrium at the central intersection, where supplied quantity perfectly matches demand. At an artificially high 16 cents, excess supply forces sellers to lower prices. At 8 cents, excess demand causes buyers to bid prices up, restoring balance. This self-correcting pressure is called the invisible hand. It uses price to ration existing units to those who value them most, and to allocate resources like labor and capital toward their highest value uses. Because of this pressure, equilibrium is the only stable state. It is Pareto efficient, because every transaction that could benefit both a buyer and a seller has already occurred, leaving no unexploited gains from trade. We prove equilibrium mathematically. Demand is PD equals A minus BQ, and supply is PS equals C plus DQ. Set the buyer's price equal to the seller's, then rearrange algebraically to isolate the optimal quantity. Q star equals A minus C over B plus D. This formula allows you to calculate the exact equilibrium quantity without needing to draw a graph. The algebraic equation perfectly mirrors the geometry. Finding Q star is the mathematical enforcement that the willingness of buyers equals the willingness of sellers. Now we introduce a government intervention, a unit tax, which is a fixed dollar amount collected per unit sold. A unit tax breaks equilibrium, driving a vertical wedge between the buyer's price and what the seller keeps. This gives our formula: price of demand minus price of supply equals the tax, T. To find who absorbs the cost, examine the slopes. The buyer's burden is the slope of supply, D, over the combined slopes, B plus D. The seller's share uses the slope of demand, B, over the combined slopes. Notice these formulas rely strictly on the slopes, B and D. There is no variable for who actually hands the money to the government. This means the economic burden is dictated by the relative steepness of the curves. The legal liability of the tax is completely irrelevant. We have seen how market prices function as an automatic rationing system, constantly pushing resources to where they are valued most. For the exam, remember Rule 1. Quantity demanded drops when prices rise, while quantity supplied goes up. Rule 2. Price changes cause internal movements along the curve, but external factors shift the entire curve left or right. Rule 3. Market equilibrium is self-correcting and represents a Pareto-efficient state with no unexploited gains. Rule 4. Tax burdens are determined strictly by the mathematical slopes of the curves, not by who physically pays the tax. Immediately apply these formulas by accessing the practice exams located in the learning area. You will also find live exam training sessions for this specific course listed at the bottom of the main program page at gradeguru.nl. By mastering this dual approach of graphical intuition and mathematical proof, you are fully equipped to dominate the market mechanics portion of your microeconomics exam.